Hey guys, Shadney back, and I want to show you really quickly. This is just a quick how-to kind of video to show you how to use these awesome new stencils that are now in my shop. So the first two are these, and they're called Wreath Builder stencils. And so right now I only have the butterflies, sorry, forgot the word for butterflies, the butterflies and the stars. And they're ones that you could totally use them just plain, just like as a background stencil. They're not like directionally, it doesn't really matter, because the butterflies kind of go in all the different directions, but kind of in the upward fashion. And then the stars are just mixed all together. But I want to show you how to do the Wreath Builder part before, so you know what the intended purpose is. So first, before anything, we're going to mark the exact center of our paper, which is right here. So then on each stencil, there's a little arrow, and it is cut out, so be careful when you're inking not to go all the way through. Like not to blend all the way over, which I mean, you wouldn't anyways, but yeah. So you line up your arrow where the corner of the arrow meets the very center, and then we go in and we'll just, and if it's going to move the whole entire thing, so I apologize in advance. And I'm not going to do the whole pages today. I'm just going to show you how to build the wreath part. So, and then you just move it around as you go. So again, you'll line up the arrow with that very center, and then there's kind of a place where you can see they kind of meet, but they overlap. You leave just enough room like it is through the rest of the stencil, like the gaps between the butterflies, I mean. And this is one I've been trying to figure out for a while in my brain. I just hadn't got it figured yet, but now I'm really excited that I did. So again, we'll just line up that arrow with that center, and then line up against here. What's the word? Nestle. You can see where they nestle into each other. The only thing that's kind of difficult about this is going to be holding it in place. If you have one of the what are the, is it the glass mats that have the whatever it is that has the magnets that you can do on, like that would obviously be easier. You can also use some washi tape if you're very careful about peeling, so you don't like peel up your paper. You can do that. There was another option, but I don't know what it was that I was thinking. If you do use tape, just don't tape across where you've already inked, because that will pull your ink off, because I have totally done that before. And you just keep working around until you have the whole thing done. So again, line up that arrow and then figure out over here. And the ink I'm using today is Shaded Lilac in Distress Oxide. I went through and I cut 2" by 2" white papers for each of my Distress Oxides and wrote the name and then inked. And I just adhered the top edge right there so that I can still get to that if I wanted to, or peel it off if I wanted to, but then I could see the color a little better. So the last one, if we did this correctly, should line up pretty well. This one I have a little bit of extra space, but it's not enough that I think you'll even be able to tell. So there is that. So that's how the Wreath Builder stencil works. And in theory, you would go in and you could add embellishments and stuff to fill in your wreath, and then add like some photos around or whatever. If you had a space like this, you can tell a little bit where there's a little bit of extra space just in this last one. If you have something like that, would be a good place to, you know, stick a photo there, or you could do your title, do some extra embellishing, and that would kind of hide that space if that is something that you're worried about. The next one is the stars, and this one is exactly the same. So we're going to go in, we're going to mark the absolute center. So that is the center, and then just like with the butterflies, we start on one, and you point the very corner of the arrow will be the very center of the page. And this one's going to be more subtle because I'm doing a tone on tone, and this is the crushed olive, and I can see that the entire camera is moving, so I apologize for that, but there's not really a way to fix that. And again, we'll go in and kind of, you can see it's a little harder to see because I am doing the same color, but you can kind of see where it kind of meets up. And especially if you do it with the tone on tone, it's a good way to give you just a little bit of extra, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, my tongue got tied. It's a good way to give you just a little bit extra, like texture, I let go, in the background of your page, especially if like this is a solid. So that makes it give you a little bit to work off of. Again, just making sure that very center is in the very center. If you were worried about and like wanted to make sure it was very, very even, you could also go in and divide your page into 6. It's done where it's 6 of them. So you could, you know, do a top one, a bottom one, and then fill in the sides. If you wanted to make it very, very even, if you were worried about the edges meeting up. But the way it is, I don't think you really have to worry too much about it. Okay, and then the last one, we're going to see how we met up this time. Oh, I overlapped a little bit, I think. Yeah, I think I messed this one up a little bit. I didn't do them close enough. But again, you can make sure your seam is wherever, yeah, you can't even tell. I mean, if you look really hard, you can see like there's 2 stars right there, and there's a tiny star with the bigger star, and the same right here, but you can't really tell in the grand scheme of it. And if you are worried about that, just position your overlapping, like decide where your photo is. So if I wanted my photo over here, I would start there and then work around so that where they overlap, my photo would go over it and cover it, if that's something you're worried about. But like I said, it's very Like you can't even tell. So I just realized how faded my paper is. Okay, my next set of stencils, and this is a set because it comes with 2 stencils, but it's 4 pieces total. Again, we're going to go ahead and mark the center so we know where we're going with it. So there's 6. And we'll go this way and go 6. So this is the full, how is it called? The full Starburst stencil. So it comes with 2. You get 1 and 2, and then these are the inside pieces in case you want to use them for other things. We can talk about that in a second. But so stencil 1, 2. Whenever you do it, the stencil 1 is the middle, and you'll line the very center up in the very center. And if you wanted to just do a small starburst, you could just use stencil 1. It's not a big deal whatsoever. But if you wanted to do the full one, because I don't like 12 by 12 stencils. So I like to keep my stencils this size. These are 5.5 by 5.5. And I will tell you why. I mean, I like them just in general because they're smaller and easier to handle. But storage wise, I have a little mini binder. And these are, you can buy these at Walmart. They're the 5.5 by 8.5. So if you take like an 8.5 by 11 sheet and you just cut it in half, that's what size this is. And then I got the page protectors and just used old cardstock, and they fit perfectly in that. I also have some mini ones and they fit side by side in there. So this is, well, one reason I really like, and the other thing is because they're easier to ship. It's easier with my current packaging so that I can I don't have to worry about changing all my packaging to be able to ship anything. So the way this works is you would line up your center and then do most of this. If you don't want to see a direct edge, I wouldn't go all the way to the edge. I'd go about like to there. Then, and I don't know that this would work with the misting. It works with ink blending. Then you would layer this stencil over, hold it in place, and pull this one out, and then finish your blending. So you go all the way out. So it should be able to go all the way to the corner, if you see right there. Okay, see, so you can go all the way to the corner. Whenever you do one, these dashed lines will tell you where to line up the edge to keep them evenly spaced, and there should be 16 all the way around. The other thing you can do is if you want to skip one, you could do that, and then line up with this, so you could do every other one if you wanted to do something like that as well. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to play with this. I haven't played with this one yet. This is all in theory so far. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up. And this is Tattered Rose is the color. And if you were doing a layout where you weren't doing the center, like where you were just doing like a big cluster in the center and only wanted to do the edges, you could totally use this one. It just doesn't have that extra line to show you how far to space them out. So you'd have to use the other piece to help do that. So we'll go in, we'll start. This is the other thing, is it's gonna be something with a learning curve, just trying to figure out how to hold it more than anything. But again, you can add tape or do whatever. Okay, then we're gonna go in with this one. Oh, I twisted it. Where, okay, there we go. We line up those circles. I'm gonna hold this one and slide this one out. And then you should be able to work your way all the way to the edge. That. And then you don't get that distinct line right there if you don't go all the way to this top corner. The other thing, okay, so if you did that and then you come over here, you'd line, oh, there's my hair. You'd line it up again, and then you'd find where that meets that line. The other thing, let me pull a different one. I'm gonna do the hot pink. And this one is Picked Raspberry. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let's do it this way. And you can layer these so that when you peel it up, you see you'll get the wedge like the Starburst, but you'll also, so okay, so we're gonna pull this one up. I'm gonna do this one down, again lining up those circles, and then do it again. And then I just have to line up the circles from the stencil, the top stencil, and keep working my way up. So when you pull it off, then you have the pattern. Isn't that cool? I'm sorry, but that's super exciting. Like, I'm super excited about that. The other thing you can do if you wanted to add in like paper layers with this, you could use this one, or I mean you could use the regular stencil, but you could also use this and do it on your paper and then trace it, and then you'd have a perfect one that coordinates with this whole thing. I'm gonna do one more just because we can. Let's do Rusty Hinge. Set that aside. I gotta clean all these later. The thing okay, so I've been really getting into the Distress Oxides, and I will say I really like them because they're so easy to clean up. They're easy to lay color. You can go over any background because the oxide, I mean, the reason, okay, so the thing with the Distress Oxides, there's dye ink which soaks into your paper and dries almost immediately, or there's pigment ink which sits on top of your paper. It's the one you can use to get like more vibrant colors, but on any color, but usually it takes longer to dry. The really awesome thing with the Distress Oxides are they are a perfect mix of both. So they're dye enough that they dry quickly, and they do kind of soak into your paper so that like they're there, but they've just got just enough of a pigment that they'll sit on top of any color, but they don't take forever to dry. Like this one, you can see a little bit where it's super thick is a little bit still wet, but for the most part it's pretty dry. And then last one, this one is Rusted Hinge, and I haven't used this color yet other than oh, and then I was going to do this. I was going to show you how you can skip. So if you just line that one up there, and then when you go to line this one up with the center, you'd line that line up with the edge of this. So, hold on, there we go. The other thing with Distress Oxides is if you want a softer color, you can blend like this. But if you want a more pigmented color, you can go in, let it dry, and then go in with another layer and add as many layers as you want to get that more vibrant tone of the color. Okay. You could also do it where if you go ahead and do a color here, you can go back and do it again and do like a pattern over the top of it if you wanted to, which is kind of cool. So anyways, this is the, what's it called? My brain has stopped working. This is, sorry, I was looking for a pen as well. Because you can also go in and you could just use it to draw some like doodly lines. Oh, this is the full, what is it? Full page Starburst, full Starburst Stencil set, I think is what it's called. Full Starburst Stencil set. And you could go in and add more paper layers. You could add, ooh, like with washi tape mixed in with this. Stitching lines would be really cool mixed in with this. So anyways, there's that. And you could just go around and finish all of it. You could do like a half page and only half of it. I did like kind of sunset colors because I thought that was kind of cool. And I'll probably off camera go in and finish this. But I just wanted to show you really quickly that those are the new stencils that are in the shop, and those are how they are being used. So, or how they are to be used. Oh, sorry, I hit this. Anyways, just wanted to explain those so they weren't quite so confusing. So this one is the full Starburst Stencil, and it comes, when you purchase it, it comes as 2 in there, and you'll get these inside pieces as well. So you'll get 4 pieces total, 1, 2, and then the 2 inside pieces. And then if you do the Wreath Builder stencils, those will come with just 1 stencil, but again, you can work it around to make that full wreath. So this is the Starburst, and then here are the examples of the wreath stencil, so you can just see again how those look. So there's that. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in these, there are links down below, and there is also a longer video showing you all the new product that just released on April 1st. So, but this was just a deeper look on these specific stencils. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day and happy scrapping. Bye.